Pam pim pim pum pom pim 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 pom pam pim 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 pim. Oh man, we are back. We are back to the track. We are finally good and having some straight facts. No, what? No, 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 no. Ah. Hello? Hello? Okay, there it is. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, we're fine. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. So... Oh man, we're finally back after such a kind of long break. What a really lovely thing it was, so to speak. I really enjoyed having so much problems with. I really enjoyed having so much problems and troubleshooting with the whole. What was it? Twitch. I didn't even understand what happened there, but it was something like Twitch going wrong on my side, or was I don't really understand it. I just know that somehow I wasn't able to edit anything. I wasn't able to change titles, make clips, change or make any kind of modification to my whole stream page, or what my whole the part of the streaming that is really important, so to speak. I wasn't able to do any of that, so I not only I wasn't able, I also had the bot set up to try and change things with the command exclamation mark title, and it also didn't work. It was funny, it was really funny, so I cannot really pinpoint what was going on with Twitch. I wasn't able to stream because of that throughout the whole day. And well, yeah, it is kind of important to say. Also, I wasn't even able to. I tried to stream just to test, and it told me that it had a problem with the server. So I don't know. I might have said something kind of edgy, or I don't know, bad for Bezos' son. So I was under revision. I don't know. I didn't got a copyright claim or anything like that so far, so I wouldn't really understand what was the real reason behind the whole mess that Twitch was for me. Because also I didn't see anybody complain on any place, Twitter, the Discords I am, but I don't know. It was weird, but here we are. Aside from that, I kind of got very tired because it was really exhausting trying to solve a problem that I didn't even know if it was solvable or not. So I really spent time on it. That's all I can say. I really just spent time trying to work around it somehow. Well, I will say it solved itself because I didn't do anything, so I don't know. We're fine. Somehow we're fine right now. Aside from that, I am having a banana right now, and this shit tastes so fucking weird. I think it ended up fermenting or something like that. It has a very bitter taste. What the fuck is going on with this banana? I love how when I eat things on stream, they are the most weird objects I have ever tasted. I ended up having a streak of fucking rotten on the inside apples, now a fermented banana. What the fuck is going on? Why I cannot enjoy a simple, for a whole week, a simple collection of fruits instead of dying from different causes caused by the fruits that I eat. Well, I'm pretty sure this shit it really, if it didn't ferment itself, it was already lace or something like that. It has really a strong alcohol taste. I hope I don't get drunk. I hope it is only a taste thing. I have no possible way of testing that, so we will see. I will probably notice when I start digesting the banana later on. Oh man. No, it is kind of hard for me to think about anything else. What the fuck is this? It really tastes funky. Funky banana. Let me peel it a little bit more and keep eating it. I am almost done. That is the good thing about it. Because we have no big bananas here, so well, all I can say is that probably if I convince myself it has something inside of it, it probably will end up affecting me. So let's pray, or let's all agree that it had alcohol in it, so I can be fucking drunk without really ingesting anything. That would be such an amazing event and completely random also occurrence. I don't know. Mm, banana. Yeah, banana. But there it is. I am done. I only have to throw the peel off to the garbage bin now. I wouldn't even dare to go and Google what is that. I wouldn't want to know if I'm going to die because of a poison banana. So we're just playing some random roulette. Will it be good? Will it be bad? We don't know. We'll learn as we go on. Now, give me a moment. I need to throw this thing. I don't want to be so so crazy about it, but I really feel kind of funky. What the fuck is going on? I'm pretty sure that was an special banana, to say the least. But well, um, we will see as things keep happening. Mm. I won't even try to drink some water, just in case it really had something on it, and I can take complete advantage of a passive or something like that. Uh, a banana with the hidden passive of getting me fucking drunk without any real reason to do so. So yeah, we're fine, we're fine. We're going to have a fun stream. But well, I have been thinking a lot today because it really kind of stressed me out that out of complete nowhere I I started struggling in general with the whole Twitch thing. So what I can really say is that at least for now we're good, and I will try to go for today specifically at least for 12 hours. I haven't really spoken that much in the whole day, so there is no problem for me to keep going on. And also, I haven't used my brain to exert ideas. I only have been taking in, so to speak. I, at least, I was able to, how will I say it, to avoid consuming kind of meaningless things. It was a rather a productive day in another department, so to speak. I really wasn't there to to think about what I was consuming, so I no, I wouldn't say I need to work on them on stream, mostly because they are, yeah, even if they are not that advanced, sometimes they have a zero prior what is it, context, so I wouldn't really like to bum out whoever it is that wants to watch the potato, so to speak. But well, at least for now we're fine. Somehow we're fine. Um, all I can really say is I'm trying to feel how is it that I am doing. I really think that shit had something on it. I don't know. I really think it had some. I My theory is that I went to the green grocer that sells fruits, and they have a special banana for them because they are almost always eating bananas or apples or well, yeah, it is very rare to see, but they also eat oranges almost all the time, and there is a very intense alcohol smell. Uh, it isn't a smell. Yeah, I don't remember the word, but basically that a very strong alcohol odor, so to speak, on that place. So I would guess they didn't notice that they ended up giving us a special banana, so to speak, because I really feel fucking funky out of nowhere, and I have had everything so far, so I don't know. I don't really know. I will, and if it didn't have anything, I also am doing my best to convince myself because I it has been almost a week since I had anything, so I I desire so much, but I am capable of so little. This is such a pain being conscious, completely conscious. When, but no well. Something that I really didn't do. Speaking about something completely different, was my kind of important part, so to speak. I didn't make a list, I didn't check for topics, I didn't in general make a kind of, yeah, schedule on stream or for the stream. So it is it is a concept what we are going to have right now. I don't really understand completely, even myself, what are we going to talk about for the next 2 whole hours, or how much it probably should have been already like mm, 10 minutes at the very least. Um, 17 minutes, yeah. Just in case, let me know it. Yeah, just in case. I don't really know what is going on. I wouldn't say. It, it is kind of a weird concept to think that a fruit will have alcohol in it because someone inserted the said amounts of alcohol, but at the same time, I don't think the fermenting process is so random or so rapidly occurring, even less in a banana. Why? But yeah, I am feeling funkier and funkier, so I cannot go against those allegations. On the other hand, but well, aside from that, well, I kind of talked about it a little bit while I was sitting down. It was a really an stressful day in one side because I had to try a lot of things. I kind of hold myself back from sending directly a Twitch ticket or a Twitch support ticket to get a little bit of attention and try to solve the problem as fast as possible because it happened on the morning and it lasted through the whole evening, afternoon, and almost I was pretty close to not being able to stream. Also, I thought I wasn't going to stream for the whole day, um, and I will have in that case I will have really needed to contact a Twitch support, but somehow it fixed itself. I yeah it also is kind of weird because when you see it or when you try to analyze what happened, there wasn't any kind of error number or specific thing to report. Basically, just say that you are incapable of making the change that you want. Nothing else. Um, um, Even the bot only said that there has been an error when with the action you try to perform. Nothing else. So I really don't know. But well, aside from that, it was, as I said before, a really big motivation day. I Since I started streaming and mostly just chatting, I found myself playing less and less games. The last time I played something was on stream, uh, and since I think it has already been at least a week, or even if it wasn't a week, it feels to me like it has been a week. But it is weird. It is weird. Taking into account that before I started the whole streaming endeavor, I devoted myself, or I devoted my free time and my dead hours to a lot of different games. Seeing that out of nowhere I play nothing feels kind of surreal, so to speak. But well, it is better than mindlessly doing whatever it is that I was doing before. Uh, well, yeah. Even the only tiny difference that happened was that I ended up replacing my moments that I had throughout the day of playing a game and thinking or learning stuff to this place, so to speak, to give it a name to being in the potato garden, so to speak, because basically here I think I kind of already said it before. I go on a lot of topics. I ramble about them, and I don't know if I said this specifically, but the simple fact of putting ideas into words is also a very helpful tool, at least for myself. So it has become a very big, yeah, a very important, not necessity, but way of entertainment at the very least. Because even if I am not really trying to do it in an entertainment or self-entertainment way, but rather try to provide anything useful to whoever decides to watch it, I cannot avoid but also find myself a lot of times enjoying whatever it is that I am talking. Even more when I think it was really the last stream because I had no opportunity of continuing with anything else after that. So even after the last heavy stream that I struggled with a lot of things about, yeah, about the mental health, about the way of sacrificing and the whole topics that I basically tackled on the I already forgot on the self accountability topic, even with all of that being kind of already known idea for me, the simple the simple fact that I also had to do a little bit of reading or skimming through the whole things that I already saw before, and also I wanted to have, for example, in that case, I wanted to have a lot of ways to provide that idea for us, anybody. So not only did I rewatch the videos that I watched about the topic and skim through a lot of texts that contain that idea in general, but also I ended up spending my time watching some newer content about it. It it really is, as I said before, um, or it really ended up being something great, not only for whoever it is that decides to watch it, but also for me myself, as it at the end of the day, even if I do not really meant to, I ended up deepening my understanding of such idea. For example, I only knew about the self accountability side from the kind of psychological and philosophical way. I didn't even knew it was such a big word in the how to say it in working places, working environment in general, because I never found it or never searched for it to see what it really was the most common uses it had. So it kind of also became a bigger revelation in a sense, because at the end of the day, even if I feel like it is one of the very few concepts that might be really interesting to know about, there was also the contradiction that I, at least from my daily life, I think I have heard like two people at the very best talk about it. I didn't really found that much people speaking about self accountability or how being accountable really might be helpful in any kind of way in, in my daily routine, so to speak. Only when I was spending my time learning about it out of my own volition, so to speak, I really found any kind of interesting idea or even a mention about that. Because, as I was saying, there wasn't even a mention about the whole idea. So, yeah, I as I said, I guess it is kind of understandable. A lot of times we tend to reduce or at least not even take into our daily lives the working kind of definitions or the definitions that we use in our working environments, so to speak, as they are commonly something not so applicable to the daily life. For example, if you, if you were to understand how to do a graph on on your work, there is almost no use that you can have for that knowledge in your daily life. You will really need to scratch your head a lot to find how to apply it out of nowhere. But well, also I don't know. In general, it is weird. So we're fine. We're fine. Even if it feels kind of funky, as I said before, that there isn't that much talk about it. At least I did my part, so to speak. And at the very least, I ended up, yeah, as I said yesterday, tackling the topic, just in case anybody wanted to hear about it. Or, as my main idea was, I will need in the future have that reference already out there so that I do not have to talk about it every single time. I want to really deepen into related concepts. Also, one of the many things I learned today was even if I wanted to avoid repetition in that sense, it might not be completely avoidable, so to speak. I might not have the possibility of really avoiding uh, at least repeating, for example, in this case, the idea of, oh yeah, what is self-accountability? Potatoes on? Somebody asked me, and the only or the most basic kind of response I can give is, yeah, you can find my video about accountability on my Twitch channel as a highlighted topic. So I guess there isn't a real way to avoid that, so to speak. And well, there is a way, but also, at the same time there isn't. I could try to limit the kind of or yeah the amount of questions that I will get in that regard if I were to say, oh yeah, you know what? All of my highlighted videos are a must watch before you even decide to enjoy any of my streams. So if you ask a question about something that was said on a highlighted video instead of watching it, you will get permanently banned. No, I don't find it as a correct way to go around that situation. I would rather respond every single stream. Yeah, the accountability topic. There is a highlight on my main Twitch channel. You can check it. And there it is, nothing else. At the end of the day, being a dick about it isn't a real tool. So well, I I have been going back to the banana. I have been trying to repeat it the least I can, but I am really fucking drunk. So I don't know what is it going to become of this stream. And even more taking into account, I have no list of things to ramble about specifically today. So let's pray to God. Anything, no, the opposite. Nothing bad happens. Um, I'm already feeling the need to go to the bathroom. This is amazing. I don't know what was that, but this is certainly one of the many experiences I had on life. I don't know. I don't really know what the fuck is going on right now. Aside from that, also today and this is kind of a heart that I am carrying right now. I wanted to do some editing and some timestamping earlier in the day because even if it might not seem that important to anybody else, at least for me it is. I mean, if I were to give anybody no tools for them to try and guide themselves around in what I would really be doing, what is the point of really not giving anybody a tool, so to speak, on the things that I ramble about, if a lot of times they will end up being, in a sense, an important thing to have in mind or to refer to as, yeah, basically, I, I think I never talked about it on stream, but I figured I might as well end up going for the philosophical route, as I haven't seen that much people try it really hard, so no problem about it. And also, at the end of the day, there isn't really anything that cannot be talked or discussed in that sense. Well, yeah, talking also about it, I reminded, I remembered, so to speak, the, what I wanted not to speak about. I haven't been really sure about it, but the man-child concept, and not the actual. Eh? Hello, Marley. Yeah, I think it is like 4 a.m. on Spain right now. The actual topic, I was just going to start about the one of the videos that I watched earlier. I didn't today. I haven't had that much time to put a list to speak about anything, so I came up with the idea of talking about one of the videos that I saw recently. That is the actual topic. I just ended with, what did I end about? Oh yeah, with I ended. Thank you for showing. Thank you. And don't worry if you're feeling sleepy. Go to bed. Nobody is really forcing you to be here. I at least don't wouldn't feeling great knowing that if you're sleepy, you're just staying because you feel the obligation to do so. Don't worry. No, yeah. For on the other side, the video was about a philosophical video about the concept of the man-child, and basically, it is kind of hard to convey in a few words, but something like what the whole, yeah, basically, it can be divided into two. There is on one side the idea that everybody has an internal child that can be helpful, and also the idea of what it means to let the child or the inner child take control of the self, so to speak. And those were the main ideas about it. And I was trying to talk about it because it came to my mind when I said that I just know what I was talking about before, but well, let me read some chat. Sorry. I was going to ramble. Oh yeah, thank you for showing up then. I am trying to do my best. I being really an English second language is a big debuff, so I try to put the most ideas I can into the tiniest amount of words. So if you found it already kind of interesting, thank you. And well, mm, no, not the Arrested Development. It was rather the idea. I think it was kind of from the. They took it from the definition that Carl Jung gave first, and then went to the older references that were around it, because yeah. It is a thing. It really is. It really is a concept that we cannot speak in Spanish, but well, both of us chose that route, so we cannot complain about it in reality. But well, sorry. As I was trying to say, they took it. They started about. No, yeah. It wasn't a meme. It was really a philosophical video. I could try to leave you the link in chat if you are really that interested. Because it was kind of heavy, so to speak. It talked a lot about what it really means, the mind child in general, and mhm. uh, what is the main difference between mental and physical maturity. Um, they focus on the mental child as the difference that we have when, or the kind of thinking that we have of being a kid in the most pure sense, or the most common sense, basically. That kind of idea that you might hear from older people about, oh yeah, kids are very pure, are also innocent in a sense. That was they were talking about. Uh, because, for example, one of the most interesting kind of examples that they gave was Don Quixote. In that video, it very well fit to the description of a man child, so to speak, because that guy was constantly in a state of purity where he took everything, so to speak, without the subtext, and rather only focused on what was directly being said. And it was really interesting to hear about the whole. Oh yeah, um, you have the possibility of having your inner child understand things, or you also have the possibility of being the older person, so to speak. Um, the wise old man. That was the other side of the coin, so to speak. Uh, yeah. And continuing with that example, it also was a very good one, because there is some people that really live only in the man-child sphere, so to speak, or in the man-child mentality. In uh, Even if you haven't read that book, it is from the 1900s, so it isn't my fault that I am going to to spoil you. But at the end of the book, basically, because he was forced to confront the reality instead of living on his child mental world, uh, that was the best example about what might happen to people that needs to leave behind the man-child way, so to speak. Um, mm, no, 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 no. It was in the other sense. Basically, he, it isn't that he decided. It was rather that he found more comfort in the idea of seeing the world that way, and rather living it in that sense than taking it as a so serious reality. And when he was forced in the last chapters to, but I don't know, man. I also have talked with someone from Spain, and they haven't read that book, so not everybody has the same luck as you, so to speak. That's why that's why I said it. Some people really don't do their homework, so it is funny. But well, yeah, as I was saying, um, it was rather that El Quixote kind of decided to be a simpler man and to live the world in in a more joyous manner, so to speak. Why? Because he wasn't tainting the whole things and the whole perception of his reality with the mind of a wise old man that tries always to find the negative possibilities on everything. Eh, mhm. Eh, is your inner child something that can grow, then go back for a child, and then regrow? Or is there a point in which it never changes after a love of innocence? No, it has the possibility of regrowing, but it the video mostly focused on presenting the idea of the man-child. But as I understand it, if you are kind of able to recover or at least be able to not fall against the first reality check, so to speak, or reality slap, you have always the possibility of keeping the chill-like mentality or keeping the chill-like innocence. It isn't always a possibility, as for example, one of the most notorious kind of text that has a complete loss of innocence is Dante's Inferno. Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But basically, that's that, that's what I was going for. He was he was able to sustain the first slap of reality, and then Don Quixote, in at the start of the story, also was showing that he was more connected with that side of him, and later on, as we talked before, he ended up facing another reality check, so to speak, and that's when he really broke. Mhm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It, it, it isn't fluctuating, but rather it is one of the main things that they focus, so to speak, on the idea that it is something you can kind of control, so to speak, because as I said earlier, if in you if in one hand you have the possibility of being completely innocent, you also have in the other the possibility of being completely wise, so to speak. And it only presented. There is there are, I think, like the 8 main personality traits or something like that videos. So they kind of focus on the ideas that you can learn how to control them and how to, so to speak, have the possibility of directly calling those ways to think or something like that. At the end of the day, I wouldn't say it, they are different personalities, but rather ways to interpret the world itself. It was interesting, yeah. But on the, on the other hand, it is kind of very dense, and as as always as I always try to say, it really takes some time to start from zero. I wouldn't really speak about it um, as something that literally anybody can start watching, so to speak. But well, I do not mean it in the oh no, you cannot. Rather, I wouldn't recommend it. But well, mm, yeah. Basically, in the way that I see it is they are kind of putting the idea of having different point of view in in a simpler fashion, basically, because you are only telling the listener, so to speak, that you can have the possibility of having one main way of seeing the world take the control of yourself, in a sense, when in reality, a lot of times, as we talked before here, you might have the possibility of controlling all of them at once. So it really is interesting to at least have that basic notion in that sense. Oh wow, text, let me read. Because there is clearly situations where a person doesn't fully matter and might regress into a childlike state or confront but actually it's like well yeah, but it wasn't taking it from that point of view, uh, because when you regress, when you express such a traumatic experience that you end up regressing, it is rather what is it, self-defense mechanism of your mind to preserve the life of the human that in that case ended up regressing, not to, not in any kind of way a real or a possibly conscious action. It is rather a, yeah, an unconscious response to the world, and to the environments that you're being exposed to. The kind of, yeah, the presentation that they were going for was rather those people that, yeah, a coping mechanism, um, because it it really is hard to talk about it without the video, but basically it talk about you have the possibility of always having the inner child interpret the world for you, so to speak, not you entering into a child state, but rather seeing the world from that simple point of view, so to speak. Uh, but I think I already said it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I just repeated what I said before. But yeah, basically that it was really interesting, and mostly because um, there is also the face of it, I will say, that as with every childlike being, you also need to face the reality that sometimes, so to speak, the inner child takes control, because the most delusional a human is when it is on a child mentality. The, when you end up becoming wiser, you end up also limiting the amount of imagination that you put in things. So it is also said from that point of view that when somebody is, in a sense, being delusional, is being childlike. Not because it is bad by itself, but rather because they ended up just ignoring the signals that the life gave to them, so to speak, or directly not even noticing those signals to start with. So they ended up really being kind of childlike in that sense, basically. Repeating what I just said, but well. Water. That was one of the videos, and at this point I really feel they are very interesting to see, but at the same time I also am trying to refrain myself from to watch more videos. I spent almost an hour on a 15-minute video, so if you were to watch a 40-minute long video, I don't know how much hours will end up going to be here. That is also a good comparison. Children have more imagination and a lesser understanding of the world, so the illusions. Yeah, that's basically why they were speaking about the inner child not as something bad, but rather as an another state of the conscious mind, basically. In some sense, or well, in some cases rather, it is also a tool that some people has. Some are, for example, as we just talked before, Don Quixote was always on the childlike mentality because he found in that being that way meant for him the easiest kind of solution to everything, and also because it is an story at the end of the day, so it is something that can be understood, that every kind of situation was possible to resolve from a complete kind of innocent point of view, even if he was an old man and the situations might have had a lot harder resolutions, or the world itself isn't as simple as somebody tells you to do something, and just by doing certain action there is a given value, so to speak. But that I there's not much else to say about Don Quixote. Oh man, it really is great. Basically, that is the main idea. Thinking is great. Thinking is a great tool. Haha. I'm sorry for the shitposting. I didn't mean to. But well, aside from that main idea, I was more interested in talking about the possibility of why having the childlike mentality might be kind of hurtful, because at the end of the day, if you really don't have the possibility of understanding or taking into account the warnings that life itself tends to give to you, it is weird to not to I would say to find yourself failing when in reality you also have the possibility of facing, or at the very least knowing that you probably were a kind of literally going to fail if you didn't change how you were doing things, in a sense. So the childlike mentality, or the man-child, so to speak, is also a very interesting idea, because it also connotates, so to speak, that a lot of people really doesn't want to leave that behind, and even less they are really interested in accepting that it isn't a problem by itself, but rather it has become a problem for their own selves in their cases. But well, yeah, I guess that is like that in as with everything else. One doesn't really notice how much problems one has when one isn't really trying to work on them. It is only when we put our mind into the real matters that we have the possibility of seeing, or at the very least, uh, starting to understand that we might have problems in general. So I guess it also is kind of a message to keep going, so to speak. But in general, you can also it is just a message. You can interpret it as it is okay to be a man child, or you can also think of it as, oh yeah, I have been a man child my whole life, so it is time for me to stop being like that. So in reality, it's simply a message. How you interpret whatever it says is up to you in this case. But well, aside from philosophical reflections, I need to pee. So goodbye. I am going to pee. let me transition to here and mute myself because I do not want anybody to hear me pee. Bim 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 bim. Amazing. Oh man. No, let me check everything is going fine. There should be no problem. I think I am not completely sure. Yeah, internet is somehow working fine, so at least for now we're alright. Now, going back to what I ended up rambling about, there is also the side of the idea that when you're when you rather decide not to change the childlike mentality, or at least when you simply enjoy being like that, you also tend to fall in. They say a trap. I don't think it is a trap, so to speak. It is simply a way of thinking, basically. You end up falling into the idea of, oh yeah, it is completely okay to negate myself from the act of working on things, because one of the main traits of the childlike mentality is always trying to work, not to work, to put the less amount of work on things because they constantly desire events to happen as fast as they can, so that they can, in a sense, kind of profit from them, or at least obtain the results they were desiring as fast as they could. So it is something. I wouldn't say it really speaks about anyone in particular, but rather it is one of the many tools to, in a sense, check or keep oneself in check. But yeah, I think that's it basically. Or at least in that sense. At the end of the day, it was a 40-minute long video. It also had, for example, the idea that a lot of times, because you have the manchal mentality, you end up deflecting at the very least the negative statements that come with knowing the realities that you are trying to face. In a sense, the child is very closely related to the fool, because both sides lack the knowledge about, or at least in the surface lack the knowledge of what they are doing, or well, the child lacks it and the fool decides to ignore it. That is, yeah, that's the main difference also. But well, even if they are like that, both sides are interesting, I will say. So it always deserves, so to speak, time to think about those ideas, at the very least. At the end of the day, there is no point in not trying, or at the very least in not putting the time for thinking, I would say. Because even if one doesn't completely agree with the man-child concept, one might end up finding that one is, in a sense, being a man-child, at least in some negative aspects, or in some possibly negative aspects. At the end of the day, nobody but the self really knows what is good and what is bad. So there is also the side of the coin, so to speak, that talks about the idea that when you are on, or when you have the man-child mentality, you also face a lot of good experiences, because the child mentality tends to always take things in a good way. Why? Because when the innocence plays a role in how we... What the fuck is going on with the dog? My fucking god, I cannot concentrate like that. When one ends up facing the world with the innocence of a child, one tends to, even in the darkest moments, so to speak, find value, or find positive value on things, because one of the most common things is, in general, in kids, that they, even in their situations, find not strength, but rather good things to keep being happy about. Because, yeah, well, it goes back to the idea of, because when one becomes wiser and when one has the knowledge about things, they are opening the doors, or in the other sense, they are kind of closing the doors to the inner child, so to speak, to let them really roam free. But well, I wouldn't really like to keep going about it for so long. I we haven't really checked how much I have been going about it at least for now. So let me do it right now. 1 hour and 7 minutes. I think we're okay. Something very funny. Going back to what I was saying before, or what I kind of started the stream about. I really am fucking drunk. Why the fuck did that banana have any kind of external substance aside from normal stuff on it? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not completely hammered, so I think at the very least I can go for 15 minutes more. But it is also bringing me down. If it isn't really holding me back, at the very least it is bringing me down. I am really having kind of a hard time thinking clearly. I kind of try to hold myself back from googling what the fuck was that, because out of nowhere. yes, after 1 hour of streaming, you're the first. Welcome, Bonkum. Oh man, what an amazing stream this was. Yeah. But well, hello Mr. Bungu. I hope everything has been going fine. And well, I was thinking about what I am going to ramble next, so sorry if you entered in a bad moment or you feel like it. We're thinking, we're trying to find what the next topic will be. I will say something. Well, at the very least, I have to think about it. So doing it loudly will be helpful. At the end of the day, it is kind of, in a sense, my homework. So if I were to do it normally, or loudly, or silently, there is no difference. But man, this is so. I finally was kind of able to. Why? Why? Why do you want me to stop? Why? If you're not going to give me a tool, why do you want me to stop rambling? What do you have to say? You aren't forced to say anything, but you at the very least could try to say anything. If you're going to force me to stop. Well, I mean, the option of also muting the stream is there, if you know what I mean. It doesn't mean that you have to do it. I don't know. I am not really trying to say anything, but there are always an infinite amount of options at your disposal. Why are you not taking all of them, but rather that one? I think it speaks more about your. How many fucking points do you have? What? What the fuck? Elimao. A moment of point, a point haver. nutrient haver, incredible. Yeah, literally, you said something impossible. It is physically impossible. There is no way I could run out of topics to talk about. The only problem is that we will end up having the potato talk about things that my dads will have been more interesting to discuss when the potato was fully prepared, but no way for me to stop rambling about, or completely stop rambling at the very least. At the end of the day, and it is something I have already said, I have a fucking list of, like, at this point I think it is 12 different topics to talk about, so don't worry. You don't have the enough points. I'm completely sure about that. And I don't even need to check. You will need to have like, how many? 6,000 points or something like that. I know nobody has that much points, at least. Okay, thank you. But well, now taking into account it is time for me to change. I wanted to speak in this case about something very interesting. I kind of spoke about it before. I bought a mouse from one of my local companies. It was one of the highest price mouse there was available at that moment, because there was no stock for anything else, and I am sorry, but I am not going to use the D-pad of the PC to do anything. I was kind of forced to use to buy this mouse, and it is amazing. I think I have had it for 3 months, and it is already presenting more problems than what I ever thought it was going to present. Even more than when they kind of announced it as, wow, this is the next biggest invention or the next revolution in the Argentinian market. In my case, I have already lost the scrolling function. I only have the middle click. Sometimes it decides to, when I do one click, I don't know what is the real problem, but it sometimes decides to do 2 clicks, no matter what button I press, no matter if it is the left, middle, or right one. It does whatever it wants. It also had some additional buttons to its sides, and one of them already stopped working also. So I don't really know what is going to happen with this. And well, that is only talking about the buttons. It also has a DPI meter to increase or decrease sensibility. Don't ask me why. Every time I put up my PC, I need to change it. I need to always change it. And also, the funniest part, if I were to move the cable when I am using the mouse in a radical way, so to speak, the mouse, I will say 80% of the time, decides to directly stop working. So I love my mouse. I really love my mouse. I am completely in love with my mouse and how well it functions. And even more taking into account that it costed me like $10 fucking. So I am not even going to complain about the quality that I got for such a fucking high price, nonetheless. So at the very least, it has gamer lights. Wow, I am pretty sure it is because of that same reason that it kind of costed even more than a regular mouse. because on the rest of the things it is fucking bad. But well, I don't know. I being realistical and not so comical about it. I really will need to buy a new mouse, and I do not want to face that problem yet. I it it has been working incorrectly or improperly since the first day, so I am already accustomed to its antics, so to speak. Yeah. I wouldn't really try to get in a sense angry. I'm just working on in this case trying to get a good deal at the very least. At the very least. I don't I don't have the possibility even more with my actual budget to buy a new mouse, so I will have to see how I deal with that. But well, I am happy. I am happy with the whole rest of things that I have, so no need to worry. Kind of moving on. Also, it is amazing to see that even my actual mic is working. I don't really understand how is it that I have been able, in a sense, but yeah, I talked about it before, but it is weird to see that a lot of times we end up, so to speak, putting a lot of excuses before what we really want or what in reality try to achieve. We don't really have the possibility sometimes of complaining, but we decide of to do so. Well, yeah, that is a very interesting topic, man. The idea that a lot of times when we complain, we do so because the satisfaction that we feel from that act, or the satisfaction that we receive from the simple idea of letting ourselves go, so to speak, is weird. I wouldn't really. It is, in a sense, one of the few things that I don't comprehend about the whole conscious thing. At the end of the day, even if there is no real meaning behind having conscious, why is there such a function that when we feel sad in a way, we also have some rewards from our own glands, so to speak? Why? I will try to view it from the point of view of natural selection or something like that, or like if you have the possibility of not only taking that minimal impulse that you get and that minimal boost that you get after being down and overcome your past struggles to, in a sense, try to be better, but how did I word it? I think I was talking about those who do it like that, but well, if we view it like that, we have the possibility of always advancing and also, in a sense, overcoming and taking it in a good way. On the other side, we also have to, or we also at the very least have those who don't even really try to change, and those, as I was saying, in the what was it in the natural selection point of view, if you were to not address those problems, you only will kind of dragging yourself out and yeah, not only not achieving any kind of progress, but if you really let those kind of ideas take control of you, also, or not also, but rather at the end of your whole life, basically, being dragged down by your necessity at that point of only receiving satisfaction from the act itself of feeling bad. Because at the end of the day, even if we, yeah, it is harsh to say it, but sometimes the act of feeling bad on itself is what feels good, or what is the brain only capable of doing, so to speak. So yeah, it is weird. It is weird. I wouldn't really try to blame anybody in that sense. At the end of the day, why? How is it that when you have no concept about what I am discussing right now, you will even understand that you have the possibility of taking that minimal motivation that you get from complaining to change your life, or to try to, in a sense, shape whatever it is you are facing. Because I, one of the many things I faced today, I had to, I have no, I decided to observe one of the cases of a very, very depressed person. Um, and this was in a sense, a philosopher. I wouldn't really consider it that, because it was, the way I saw it, it was someone who really gazed into the abyss and felt like the abyss was the only response, so to speak. Um, because when you really don't have the possibility, or you don't really try to fathom the idea of having in your hands the chance of changing whatever it is that you find, you might as well not even realize that it exists. It is like, I wouldn't say, well, I will say it basically. If you're blind, how is it that you will expect yourself to see things? It is impossible. You might somehow sense it, but you wouldn't really be able to see. I don't know, I don't know. But, well, I think that's it in essence. I I don't find that much else to say about it. At the end of the day, even if you were to try and notice in, yeah, even if you were to try and put the work into noticing your own faults, so to speak, when you also have not a clear way to do so, you might also end up failing anyways. And not because it is bad, but rather because it is kind of unavoidable at the very least. So yeah, it is weird. It is weird. I can't say that it is anything else but weird. Well, yeah. As rather, it is one of the many things that I try not to repeat too much, but it isn't in reality just weird. It is rather, you see it, you face it, and you have the possibility of changing it somehow. And if you don't see it, you how can how do we expect ourselves to be conscious about something that we don't even know exists, basically? So it it makes zero sense to expect somebody who is depressed and has never heard about the possibility, at the very least, of changing, that they, in any way, they have the possibility. Yeah, they have the possibility, or at the very least, not possibility, they have the chance of saving themselves. In yeah, the best example that came to my mind is, for example, if you find yourself being a person that relies too much on others, there ends up coming a point where in life where you don't even understand that you can also rely not on others but on yourself. And it is weird to see that somebody cannot even fathom the idea of relying on themselves because their whole worldview has been shaped around the idea of, yeah, you know what, I might as well never try to change. Why? Because it is impossible for me to do so. So yeah, I guess it is something that anybody really needs to work on at the very least. I wouldn't say it is something that you can change per se, but it is something that at the very least you can try to work on. But well, with that, I am already at this point. I am very drunk, so I am not not having problems with rambling, but rather having problems with thinking out new ideas out of my mind. So I might as well end it here. I am now. I really am kind of hammered, so oh man, no. I cannot take it more. At least for today, it was great. We had some. Even if I thought I wasn't going to be able to stream, we had some streaming, so we're fine. Now I need to go to bed. I need to let the alcohol get out of my fucking system. What the actual fuck is going on? Goodbye, everybody. As always, thank you, watchers, for coming this far. And well, we will see each other in the next video or stream, whatever it is. Ah, man.